Hello and welcome to today's MTD podcast. I'm Paul Jones, the founder and managing director of MTDCNC. Today I'm in Colville at Matsuura's headquarters. I've come to meet with Dominic Seminario, and we're going to be talking about a campaign that the business is just about to embark on, and it's called the Step Up campaign. But before we get into the detail of that, it's good to be with you here today, Dominic. It's a little while since we've seen you and we've met. Good to see you. Hopefully you can give us a little bit of your background as an individual for those that don't know you and haven't seen you on our cameras before.
Firstly, Paul, welcome. It has been a long time, and it's great to actually see people instead of looking at people through a computer screen. My name is Dominic Seminario, as Paul has explained. I've been here for 30 years this year. I run the sales department here at Matsuura, and I'm man and boy.
And so I know we've gone through this pandemic, and we won't labour on this for too long, but I do believe that as a business you've supported industry really well, seen some of the installations and machines that have happened, supporting customers when they've needed you. It has been a difficult time, Dom, but Matsuura as a business, things are okay at the moment?
Absolutely. I mean, straight from the off, we looked at how we could operate the business safely, not only for our own staff, but also for our customers. And as we've alluded to and spoken to on camera before today, we set about, controlled safety measures, safety videos on how we could deliver, install and train our customers to use our machines throughout the lockdown period, which we have done, I must admit, very successfully, and we've had some very, very good feedback from our customers saying so.
So let's talk about this Step Up campaign. The reason that we're here today is to do some filming, to get you on camera and educate our audience, not necessarily as to, mainly really to educate them about the technology that you offer and the fact that they should be looking at stepping up with Matsuura. So maybe you can elaborate on what those words actually mean and the campaign is about, Don.
So Step Up, what we're saying to the marketplace and to you business owners is consider stepping up from a 3-axis to a 5-axis, from a single table to a multi-pallet. That will allow you to run your businesses more efficiently, more profitable, but more to the point by maybe having one machine that will do the work of 3 or 4 single table machines, will allow you to socially distance your operatives, redeploy your operatives, but more importantly, remain profitable in these very difficult challenges ahead.
Now, it's something that Matsuura have been talking about for a very long time, is the unmanned run, maximising productivity, machine efficiency. I mean, so this campaign wouldn't have been, I shouldn't say that difficult for you to think up, but who were the engineers that you were aiming this up, and where did the idea come to push this? Because you must be thinking that there are guys out there that have problems or might be staring at the wall thinking, how am I going to get through what is happening at the moment? Is that how this came about?
Well, what we've done during lockdown is really dig deep as to how is our customer, these business owners of SMEs, looking at how they can survive and get through this difficult time. Us as well. I mean, obviously, we're all running businesses, you included, Paul. So what we've done is we've looked at it through the eyes of an owner who's running small to medium-sized businesses that are running many, many verticals or many, many single-table 5-axis machines. How can they improve their productivity, profitability in these difficult times and maintain, obviously, social distancing? They may have people that are on furlough that are struggling to come back. They don't feel safe to come back to work. How does a company survive? And that's really how we've looked at it. So the Step Up campaign is all about investing for tomorrow as well as today to ensure that they are going to be here when we all come out of this.
Okay, I want to look at a couple of examples that will hopefully resonate with the audience and people and engineers listening to this and maybe machine shop owners. Let's take the MX330 as an example, a 10-pallet machine here. Where's this going to fit in amongst the arguments that you're pushing here, Dom? Who would be the ideal candidate to look and explore one of these machines to step up to?
Well, again, if you look at many companies around the UK that are using verticals to process components in many operations, they are very man dependent. So if you can redeploy that work onto a multi-pallet 5-face machining centre, which is what the MX330 with 10 pallets is, you can leave jobs set because you've got the tool storage in the magazine, but more importantly, the machine will run unattended. Or if you had more than one multi-pallet machine, one man can run 2 machines quite comfortably that are multi-pallet, which could do the work of 6, 7 machines. It's reducing that manpower.
And if you did have 6 or 7 machines next to each other, there's other factors. You need more floor space potentially. When you're moving jobs from machine to machine, you could introduce problems into the production. But also, like you've quite rightly said, social distancing. You're going to have guys having to walk past each other, bump into each other, and we want to all try and avoid those things. So it's not just what comes off the machine; it's all those other, sort of macro environment factors as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the most challenging thing at the moment is for all of us is what's going to happen, what's going to come, what we're all walking into. I mean, there's obviously lots of opportunities that arise, in difficult times. And I think what we're trying to do with the Step Up campaign is to get to the owners, the engineers, to think differently about how they can process existing work and future work and be more flexible going forward. And
let's then, I want to pick up on the 405 machine as well, or the horizontal machines where you've got the multi-pallet options as well, because we've seen a few of your customers that have done exactly what we're talking about here, stepped up from having verticals, several of them, to one horizontal machine with multi-pallet. One of the things I've always thought of is, okay, well, I get the argument, but if I've got 3 spindles, I've got 3 spindles cutting as opposed to one. And what's your, when someone raises that as an objection, how do you overcome that, Dom?
Well, they may have 3 spindles versus 1, but those 3 spindles, if they're batching production, so you're making 10s off, 50s off, for example, the actual OEE, the operating equipment efficiency of that machine, isn't as good as many people think. It'll be down as 20-25% maximum in an 8-hour day. What we found is that if you can transfer that work onto a multi-pallet machine, have it set up so that it can make 10, 20, 50 of all different types of components, and you keep the spindle running, what we're finding is that machine could be easily 80 to 90, 95% efficient over a 24-hour, 7-day week working. What that means is that one single spindle 3-axis is never going to compete, even 3 or 4 is never going to compete against a multi-pallet machine that can run unmanned for that long. And more importantly, you don't need the labour. So from this situation that we find ourselves in with social distancing or profitability, return on investment, cost per part, a multi-pallet horizontal, if you've got 8, 10 verticals, you could just get by with 2 multi-pallet horizontal machining centres.
And I think what's important to get out in this podcast as well is the fact that we've spoken about you part exchanging. You're quite happy, quite comfortable here at Matsuura to support customers commercially, take some of those machines back, craft a solution that works for them, and that applies across the board, because the next machine we're going to talk about is the MAM. And when you go then from a horizontal to a 5-axis with pallets, what are you stepping up from to this then, Dom? Who would be someone that would look at this?
So again, 2 types of customer really. Again, from the single table 5-axis to a multi-pallet. So when we look at the MAM 72, which is 32 pallets, maximum of 320 tools, again, we've had customers that have got a number of 5-axis machines, 3 or 4. Same method really as the horizontal. So where obviously, again, you're batching, very man dependent, need to take the tools out of the machine, set the tools up. With 32 pallets and 320 tools, you can leave all those jobs set up in the machine. And as your customer requires product, may it be 1 off or 1,000 off, the machine is ready to run straight away. So in effect, you've created a vending machine approach to making product.
One of the questions, if someone's seen the video, that or they can see it actually on our YouTube channel, is I asked you about how many companies buy one of the machines that we're talking about and then stop at one, or how many go on to buy an additional machine or even an additional few MAM machines. And your answer was would add to quite a compelling sales argument. Maybe you could tell us again.
Well, the thing is, I mean, having been a salesman here for a long time, it takes me years sometimes to convince a customer to buy the first one. It takes weeks to sell the second one.
Okay, brilliant. I want to talk about the 850 as well. That's a bigger 5-axis machine with the 4 pallets on it too. A fairly recent introduction, but what I found about this machine is, although it's bigger, it isn't just necessarily about those larger components, is it? Because again, you could step up to this machine and you could load several components with some pretty clever work holding on one pallet. So it's not just 4 pallets doing 4 parts, it's 4 pallets maybe doing 32 parts.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the capacity of that machine is 850 by 450. So when you think of how many components you could hold in that cylindrical capacity, it's a lot of parts. We've said to a lot of customers, actually consider it as a large horizontal, because if you index the trunnion at 90 degrees, you've now got a horizontal as well as a 5-axis. So the thing about step up isn't specific to any one of our machines. It's step up with Matsuura, our know-how, our technology that we've been supplying for many, many years. And the thing is that times like today, where we are now, the way to look into the future is to invest in technology. That's just more than a 5-axis or horizontal. It's about how we can help the customer see those opportunities that they maybe can't see today.
What we're going to do shortly is talk about some of the commercial support that you'll be able to offer. And things like you mentioned about training as well. Before we do that, I do want to touch on one more machine range, and that's the Matsuura or the Muratech machine, because I see here you've got a twin spindle, twin turret, double Y-axis, gantry loader with a bar feed. This is some machine, very sophisticated. When you look at it as a product, these machines, these brands of machines make more parts in the automotive sector than any other machine brand in the world. Quite some piece of kit. Dom, this is certainly a machine that people can step up to, and companies that maybe at the moment, like you said about the verticals, have 3 or 4 standard lathes, 2, 3-axis machines. This style of machine can really do exactly what the MAMs can do on a milling perspective.
Absolutely, which is why we promote and sell the product. Everything that we do here at Matsuura is about technology, unmanned running, solution selling. But the Matsuura with the twin spindle, the twin turret, the bar feed, the robot load, unload, parts deployment, means that if you've got a number of single spindle, single turret turning centres, just a conventional chucking lathe, again, it's very man dependent. What we're talking about is, having one machine do variety of product with a very quick, slick, zero setup, running continuously, unmanned, through the night, and, if engineered correctly, through the weekend without any operator intervention.
So, Dominic, let's get into the commercials here now. Let's say that the dream is to do everything that you're suggesting, and I know a lot of engineers will be listening to this and they will be going, yeah, I want one of those machines. I love the idea of the unmanned run, all these things, the reduced operator dependency. But how am I going to afford it at the moment? I'm nervous about investment. I don't know what the next 6 months is going to hold for me. How do you talk to someone about, telling them that this should be a really good time to step up?
Well, what we're encouraging throughout the campaign is to consider part exchanging some of these machines that you're using that aren't as efficient as you probably think they are. So, we can look to part exchange the machine or machines that you're looking to replace with, say, the Muratech or the Matsuura. But also what we're saying is, with the part exchange, it will reduce the amount that you need to borrow. The government has put a scheme in place called SIBLs right now, which is obviously for a short period of time to encourage SMEs to invest today and kickstart the economy again with investment in our sector. So what does that mean? The SIBLs scheme will allow you to have an interest-free loan for 12 months on that term of borrowed money. And again, that can end up being thousands of pounds grant government-funded money.
Yeah, I mean, what I can do is having talked to your customers, the support that you've offered commercially to them out of these more troublesome times, has been really, again, another factor in them embracing in your business, not just your technology. Let's now just move on to, Dom, the automation aspect. Now, before the pandemic, you were selling these machines before the pandemic, you're selling them now, we're coming out of it. It is a trend generally in manufacturing for people to want to get these unmanned runs, even outside of these times, isn't it? So isn't this just another case of you having the right type of kit and the right technology at the right time? Because automation is massive around the world.
Automation is massive around the world. Automation has always been at the heart of what we do here at Matsuura. It is a technology sale. It's proven we've got the know-how, the engineers to support customers stepping up from a 3-axis to 5-axis single to multi-pallet, from horizontal twin pallet to horizontal multi-pallet. It's all about the hand-holding, the technology support. We've always focused on it, and I think today more than ever, with what's happened to us all with this situation, the pandemic, is that, technology always has a place. And technology today is what we're looking towards to help us come out of this downturn and hopefully a very quick upturn in the recovery to the UK market and the global one.
Is it a coincidence that we've been looking on social media in recent weeks, and most of the companies that seem to be excelling at the moment and are really busy making parts, whether it just be for the medical sector or others, tend to have a lot of your machines? That's quite. Is it coincidental, ironic, or is it just the fact that what we're talking about here is a reality?
Well, I think a multi-pallet machine definitely gives you instant flexibility and capability, so you can react. And I think what we saw at the start of the pandemic was many of our customers that weren't in medical switched to 24-hour, 7-day running to help, obviously, the ventilator challenge in the UK. That's, great for all concerned, and I think as a national effort, it was fantastic. But it boils down to the core competence of the product and the design pedigree that has enabled the machines to be so flexible. And it's what we do. And I think, what we're saying with the Step Up campaign is there's troubled times ahead for us all, but investing your way out of it is easier to do if you've got the right equipment to do it with.
And listening to this, people are interested. They want to step up. They like the sound of it. Matsuura, probably one of the best places to do it, in your opinion, Dom?
Being biased, I would say yes, but on a humble note, please engage with us. Please talk to us. We've got lots and lots of ideas and solutions on how we can help us all get out of this situation.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us today, Dominic. It's been a superb podcast. There's lots of videos, not just on MTDCNC's YouTube channel, but also on Matsuura's as well, of some of the activity we've been up to today, some of the machines and the technology that are available. And of course, more details on the Step Up campaign can be found on Matsuura's website, matsuura.co.uk. That's it for today's podcast. Join us next time. Thank you very much, Dom. Great to see you again, and see you soon.
Thanks very much, Paul. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.